So do me a favor, when you ask a question, ask it really loud. Don't be shy. Really yell it out loud because we want everybody to hear the question as well, okay?
Does anybody have a question? Otherwise, I'll start with the question.
Oh boy. Somebody has a question.
All right?
Why did they cut my hair? That's always the question every day. Always is, why did they cut my hair? Why didn't you cut your hair? No, the reason I cut my hair is because I got sick of it being long for so many years. Because you don't want to look the same for your whole life, do you? Why? Because times change. Welcome to the 90s. No, you have to do, you have to do whatever you feel. If you like your hair long, you should leave it long. If you want to cut it, cut it. It doesn't matter. I'm still the same person. That's all that matters. That's okay. It can always grow again.
I got a question. Paul Stanley said when they take their makeup off, the audience, they ask them, how are you going to play? How are you going to play without your hair?
How am I going to play without my hair?
Yeah. Paul Stanley asked, hey.
What am I, like Samson and Delilah?
Hey, wait a minute.
Samson loses his strength when he cuts his hair?
Yes, I know. But Paul Stanley asked this, I'm going to play still the same. You are going to play still the same?
Better.
Very good answer.
I practice more. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, next question.
He had a question. Ace.
What do you do right now?
What am I doing right now? I'm talking to you. No, actually, I'm just doing like freelance. I take life one day at a time. I just do some studio work with people. Sometimes I was doing gigs, shows with Gilby Clarke from Guns N' Roses once in a while. And we got a cheering section over here, I guess. Huh? Okay, that's good. That's good. And doing some drum clinics for Pearl in America sometimes, and sometimes I do these Kiss Expos like this. And just take it one day at a time. So what I'm doing tomorrow, I don't know. I'm going to Stockholm, but other than that, I don't know. I think sometimes you have to learn to live life. They say, don't worry about yesterday and don't worry about tomorrow. Just worry about today. So I'm trying to do this. Paul. Yeah, you're Paul. He looks at he looks at the other guy. Did you forget which makeup you put on today? Okay. Paul, Stanley, you.
I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, you had your hand up.
I raised my hand because I liked what you said.
Oh, okay. Is that like a Swedish custom? When you like something, you raise your hand? Okay. All right, that's cool. Yeah, this guy in front of you.
Do you have any contact with the rest of the Kiss members?
Do I have any contact with you? Yeah, I saw, actually, I saw Ace, Gene, and Paul about a week and a half ago. Because I'm trying to remember, I got here a week ago. So a week and a half ago, I went to see Cheap Trick on Ace's birthday. And Cheap Trick played a concert at the Roxy in Hollywood. So I went there, and Gene and Paul were there. We went out to dinner after. But I don't see them very often. But, when I do, everything's fine. I'm cool with them, Life goes on, That's the way you have to treat it. And, I don't always agree with everything Gene and Paul do, but that doesn't mean, that I don't get along with them or like them. It's, you probably have disagreements, with your mother and father, brother and sister, or wives. Everybody has disagreements, but you still like them and care about them, so. Yeah. A new release from me? Myself? I don't know. I'm working with my friend Carl Cochran, but we're just doing stuff for fun. But I don't have a band or nothing put together. But like I said before, I take things one day at a time. But I don't know. I'd like to find a band situation, but I don't want to just join any band. I want to do something that I believe in and that I feel good about. Because you have to like what you do. Just. Do I still talk? I haven't seen Gary. Last time I saw Gary Moore was in 1990 when I was playing with Alice Cooper, and we did a show in Midfinns Festival, where I think it was in Denmark or something. And he was playing the night before, so I went to the show and went and said hi to him. But that's the last time I saw him. But I see Bob Daisley all the time, the guy that played bass. Bob and I are good friends, and he would sometimes stay at my house in Los Angeles when he would come to town to visit. But now he moved to Australia. so I don't see him as much. But I stayed in contact with Bob all the time since then. So we've been friends for like 12 years now.
How's your contact with Bruce?
How's my contact with Bruce? Fine.
Eric,
Hold on a second.
what do you think of
Hold on 1 second. He's asking a question now. One at a time. All right? You're next. Yeah.
Is there a talk about forming a band with you too?
No, Bruce has his own band, Union. But Bruce and I are friends. I see him all, I see him occasionally, but he's busy, with his own life, doing his own thing. I mean, one thing people don't realize, when you don't play in a band with the same people anymore, you don't see them all the time anymore, You can't stay in contact with everybody. Because for me, I've been in so many bands, I would have to be on the phone every day with everybody. But, I'm good friends with and get along fine with everyone, And like I said before, I'm not going to try to pretend like everything's all great, but I always get along with everyone. Even when I was in the band, I always got along great with Gene and Paul and Bruce. But, I don't always agree with everything that they say or want to do, but that's okay, Now, this man.
What do you think of Black Sabbath reunion?
I haven't seen it yet.
You have played in Black Sabbath, right?
Yeah. Well, a bastard version of it. What? 10 years ago, yeah. But I think it's great because one of my favorite bands is Black Sabbath. So I hope I get to see it at some time. I know they're going to play over here a couple shows in Europe, but I don't think I'm going to be around or available to go see it. But I hope if I can, I'm going to go. I saw Tony Iommi about a month and a half ago. I was eating on Sunset Boulevard, eating at a restaurant. He was walking by, so I talked to him for a little bit. And he said he was working on a solo record. He wanted me to play drums on maybe a couple songs, but then I came over here, and he's now going on tour with Black Sabbath, so I don't know what's happening with this, but, maybe I might work with him again. I would like to. Because he writes the best riffs for heavy stuff.
No, better stuff.
What? No, for heavy music, Tony Iommi's the godfather. Kiss is not heavy metal. Kiss is a hard rock band. Yeah, well, Ace is God, but he's still, he's not the godfather of heavy metal. Come on. All right, if Ace is God, Tony Iommi's Jesus, son of God. How's this? Now we're all happy, all right? All right, we're all happy, yeah.
Have you heard Union?
Ever heard you? Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think it's good. I thought it was going to be maybe more bluesy, I was thinking it's going to be more like a bluesy style, but it's good. Some of it reminds me a little of a Carnival of Souls kind of stuff. A little bit, with a different singer, of course. But I think John's a great singer, and he's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. We did some Kiss expos in the United States with Bruce, John, myself, and Carl Cochran would play bass, and we'd play at it, and it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. John's a lot of fun to go out to clubs with and hang out. He's crazy. Yo, who? Yeah. My name's Eric, by the way. Which what? I'm sorry. Which song do I like best on Carnival Souls of Revenge? Unholy. I like Unholy best on Revenge, and Hate I like on Carnival Souls. Because those are the heavy ones. I like more heavy music usually, either real bluesy or very heavy like this. Yeah. What do you say?
Next question.
Can you tell my son something about Peter Chris?
Can I tell your son?
What he's like in private?
I don't know Peter Chris. I can't give an opinion on this. I mean, I've met Peter a couple of times, but I can't say what he's like in private because I never hung out with him in private. So I don't know. But, I mean, the times I've met him, he was nice to me and he was cool to me. I hear he just got married again last Sunday.
Maybe you could tell him what it was like to play with him together at the MTV Unplugged.
Well, that I didn't get to really see him this much. We played on. Did you see MTV Unplugged? You see? You, Peter Jr. Is this your son? The one dressed with the makeup? Okay. This question is for you. He doesn't seem to care.
No, he doesn't understand. You can tell him.
Oh, okay. But when we did MTV Unplugged, that was a good time. Everyone got along cool, and it was a different experience because I never played with two drummers at the same time before, so it was cool. It was different.
Who was leading?
I don't know. Gene.
No, who drum-wise, who was supposed to follow who?
Well, we just kind of work it out, in rehearsal.
Who did most of the rhythm tracks and who did the fills? Can you maybe tell them
Well,
that?
we shared it. We both played together, and like in Nothing to Lose, we took turns. You know, we'd say, okay, I'll do this one, you do this one. You know, we kind of worked it out a little bit ahead of time so we know what's going on. Otherwise, it's going to be a train wreck.
Did you have like your own set and Peter had his own set, like with one bass drum and you had your double bass?
Didn't you ever see it?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't pay attention to the bass drum.
Okay. Okay. No, I just wondered because no, I used one. We both had like I had a small set, small drums, one bass drum, and he had the same, almost the same kind of thing. Mine were Pearl, his were Drum Workshop at the time.
Was there ever any overkill going on, like too much drums at the same time?
No.
What do you think about the release of Carnival Songs?
What do I think about it? What do you think about it?
I think it's got an ugly cover.
It's got an ugly cover, yeah. How about, I like the artwork inside. And there's lack of it. No, that was, I don't really think much either way about it. I mean, to me, it came out, 2 years after it was done, so by this point, you're kind of like detached, emotionally. You don't really think about it so much because it seems like so long ago. Even though 2 years is not a long time, but when you're making music, it is kind of a long time. And it seems like almost like after the fact. I wish they would have put it out first before they do the reunion tour. So maybe you get a little better promotion and this kind of thing. So, but for the fans that wanted it, I'm glad it came out. This way they get to get a better sounding quality copy. But otherwise, I think all the attention is on the makeup. So I don't think most people care, and the record company didn't seem to care at all either. So that's the way it is. I don't know about in Sweden, but in America they didn't seem to care. Yeah.
Your own opinion about the music has changed from Revenge to Carnival Songs?
What about my opinion about what?
Your own opinion about the music has changed from Revenge to Carnival Songs so differently that you begin to play the last Carnival?
Yeah. Well, I thought Revenge kind of was a good combination of sounding kind of new, but still kind of retaining some of the essence or the sound of what Kiss originally sounded like, kind of a nice blend. But a lot of it, I think, had to do with Bob Ezrin producing, because he really is a good orchestrator or arranger, and he's got great ideas, very musical. But I think on Carnival Souls, I think Gene and Paul's mind were elsewhere, thinking about reunion tour. So, it's just didn't, I don't think they had as much focus, even in the studio recording. Not that they didn't care, but it was obvious to me that when I did both records in the studio, and I could see the difference of how they act on the one album as opposed to the other.
What's the difference?
Well, just Bruce was more involved, and it seemed like Bruce was at the studio the most of everybody. Every day he was there, and Gene and Paul weren't always there every day, or neither was I, because once I do the drum tracks, I don't have to hang out all the time. But Gene and Paul were, coming and going different times, and now when I think back, I realize why, because they were busy, with the lawyers and Peter and Ace planning this reunion tour.
Did Bruce know this?
No, I don't think so. If he did, he didn't tell me, but I don't think so.
All right, next question.
I got one question.
I'll bet you do. I bet you got more than one.
Metal Social work on Metal Age magazine, the song Jungle. What do you think of that one?
What about Jungle?
The song Jungle last year, the best choice award.
Well, that's people.
Magazine.
Yeah, that's people's choice, though.
Yeah,
That's like people that write in.
I want to run with that one. I say, is it good, or do you think that is bad? Or it's
Well, of course it's good. I don't think it could be bad. To win is winning an award bad?
No, I'm not too good to English, but I don't ask you.
Well, so what's the question?
I wonder if you think that is it's good, right?
Of course, anything is good. Anytime you get positive, reaction or positive feedback from people, that's always good. But it's, I thought it was kind of odd that this song would win because there wasn't really much promotion. But you have to remember, this is just one magazine, and that's just people writing in. So it's just opinion, and we all have an opinion. They say in America, an opinion is like an asshole. We all have one. So,
And they all stink.
and they all stink. Yeah.
Next question.
The guy in the Kiss shirt.
If Gene or Paul asked you, would you join the band again if they would put the makeup?
If they ask me what I do, to me, I can't say yes or no because I have to see if this happened. Then I would deal with it at that moment, you know. But I would have no problem playing with them again. I never say never about anything. But under the right circumstances, of course. I would probably say definitely, of course. You know? I mean, just like Black Sabbath, I had some disagreements with Tony Iommi back then, but that was 12 years ago. If they asked me, if he wanted me to work with him again, you know, if it's the right situation, of course, you know. You can't stay mad or hold grudges against people forever. That's not good. You know, it's not healthy. You know, you have to you can have disagreement with people, but you have to eventually let it go and move on. Life's too short, you know.
Speaking about Black Sabbath, which reunion tour would you rather join? Kiss's reunion tour or Black Sabbath's reunion?
What do you think?
I don't know, I'm asking.
I'd rather play with Kiss, of course, because I like the show. See, when I was a kid growing up, I liked both bands, but I always liked bands that have like a show, you know, like Image and Kiss had the ultimate show. So,
okay, which tour?
I would love to, you know, do some special effects and do all this kind of thing.
Which band, Kiss or Black Sabbath, would need you better than the drummer they have now?
Oh, that's not for you. He's trying to get me in trouble. I don't answer these kind of questions.
Answer that.
You answer it. That's for you to say. It's just opinion anyway, so I say nothing. I can't, because no matter what I say, it's the wrong answer. It might be right for him, but wrong for her.
What do you think about the princess drama today?
I don't make any opinions on it. I don't give opinions about that. It's not fair. You know?
This guy.
If you watch the confidential video, it looks like they had a very fun with that. It was like that all.
Which one?
Confidential.
Yeah?
If you watch the video, it looks like they had very fun together. It wasn't like that all the time. It was just,
Well, of course it wasn't like that all the time. I mean, you have fun with, you get...
But I mean, was it made up?
No. Well, put it this way. I can't speak for Gene, Paul, or Bruce. I can only speak for myself, or how I think or how I feel about something. And the way I am on the video is the way I am all the time. I mean, that's just the way I am. I mean, I have good days and bad days. Sometimes I'm in a bad mood. But most of the time, you know, I'm just, regular guy like you, everybody here. You're regular people, you know, and I like to have fun. And so I don't act, put on a show or act different just because it's a video. But we always did get along and have fun in the band, you know. One thing, Gene always liked, because I like to joke around and I goof around a lot of times, so he likes this, you know. I mean, I saw him the other day. I said, "Gene, you miss me, don't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I never have any fun anymore." He said, "Because it's all business, all work." But but that's the way you have to, chemistry between people is different each time, Some people you joke around a lot with, but the other person you don't as much. That's just, it's just the way it is. But which guy? The guy with the hat? He already asked that. You weren't here? Oh, okay.
Ask him about his beard.
What about it?
Nice beer.
Nice beard. Yeah.
Nice beard. Don't you guys think so?
What
Nice
happened?
beard.
When do you dye it green?
Why don't I dye green? Who's that? Oh, skunk. Why don't you dye it? No, I cut it because I had long hair for so many years, and I just got tired of it. I had since when I was really small, like in junior high school, like 13, 14, 15, 16, I had long hair. Then I cut it at 18 short. Then I grew it again really long until last year I cut it again. Because I had long hair too many years and, just got tired of it. I can't look the same forever, Well, that's good. That's what makes the world go round. You do whatever makes you happy.
Next question.
This guy,
I have a question.
I bet you do.
What do you think about Ace as a musician?
As a magician? I didn't know he was a magician. Is he like David Copperfield? I know you are. That's why I'm having fun with you. You know I'm just joking. As a musician, the thing I think was best about Ace is that he's never was a technical player, but I think he writes great guitar parts because you can remember them. It's like like when somebody sings a chorus and you remember the chorus, like Rock and Roll All Night, Party Every Day. His guitar solos are like this. You're very memorable, and they have a theme to them. So I think he writes great guitar parts. I mean, he influenced so many guitar players. He may not be super fast like Yngwie Malmsteen or super or flashy like this, but I would honestly, I would rather listen to Ace play guitar solos on Kiss albums than Yngwie Malmsteen any day. I mean, I don't. It's just because of it's a matter of opinion, but I think what he says more because he doesn't do so much. After a while, you hear all this fast guitar playing, then every solo sounds the same after a while. Even though Yngwie's brilliant, he's technically amazing, but for my personal taste, I would rather listen to something that more bluesy. I mean, you guys probably never heard Ace play blues. I mean, I'm not talking about Kiss songs, like blues stuff. And he's like really a great blues guitar player. I jammed with him in a club about a month and a half ago in LA, and we just playing we did a Led Zeppelin song, and then we did a blues thing. And John Corabi sang, Ace played guitar, and Gilby Clarke played guitar. And it was, I mean, Ace played great. He's just playing blues. I mean, he's really, people don't realize that, that he's really a good, much better guitar player than people realize. Because most people only hear him in a solo band or Kiss, like this hard rock style. They don't hear him do other things. You're welcome.
There's a guy over here.
Yeah.
What do you think about your car?
Like I said before, I'm not giving opinions about the past drummers because I didn't know him as a person. I only met him twice, and it's like how I met you now. Hi, how you doing? It was this, I never got to really speak with him and get to know him at all. But everyone tells me, all the fans, and everyone, I always hear nothing but great things about him, and everyone says what a nice guy he was, and how he treated the fans really good, and he was a great guy. But other than that, I can't, honestly give you an opinion about him.
When you were doing Paul Stanley's solo tour, you played drums for Paul Stanley?
No.
There was a rumor that Eric Carr saw the show and he saw you play drums with Paul Stanley, and he said to some people, I know that this guy is going to replace me in Kiss one day. Did you hear that rumor?
Yeah.
Do you think he was really worried about it?
I don't know. I know Eric wanted to play drums on Paul's solo tour. Paul did this solo tour. I don't know if for those that don't know, in 1989 he did a solo tour, and that's when I first met Paul, and that's how I got involved with Kiss in the first place. And Paul said that Eric wanted to play drums on the tour, but Paul said no because he wanted to do this separate away from Kiss. This is like a separate band, separate kind of situation, and. So maybe Eric felt uncomfortable because of this, but when I met him both times, he was cool to me. I remember the first thing he said, I was wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt, and he goes, "You're wearing my shirt," because I didn't know this, but Eric Carr used to always wear a Led Zeppelin shirt a lot, and I didn't know this, and I just met him in New York at the what's that club, the Ritz, and I come backstage and Paul goes, "Eric, this is Eric." And they introduced us, and then he goes, "You're wearing." First thing, he doesn't say hi. He goes, "You're wearing my shirt." So I thought this was funny. That's the thing I always remember about him. But he was cool. He said it, joking. He was having fun.
Were you the first drummer that Kiss approached? When
I don't know. What's your question?
Which drummer or drummers influenced you?
Which drummers influenced me? Mostly the drummers, because I'm older than most of you. So most of the drummers I grew up influenced by were, well, Buddy Rich I like a lot, but I'm not that old. But most of the drummers I like, like Cozy Powell, Carmine Appice, Denny Carmassi, when he was in Montrose and Gamma, those bands in the early, mostly Ian Pace, I loved Ian Pace, Bonham, of course, Bill Ward, Black Sabbath.
Billy Cobham?
Yeah, Billy Cobham.
John Bonham.
What?
John Bonham.
Of course, I said that a minute ago. Yeah.
How about Gene Hoglan?
Well, he's the king. John Bonham's the king, of course. Nobody, that was he's, what?
You're wrong. I'm still wrong.
That's okay.
How about Gene Hoglan?
Next question.
Who?
Gene Hoglan, do you know?
Who's that?
Ian Ham.
Death metal drummer?
I don't know. I heard the name, but I don't know. What name?
He's right now he's in Striping Young Lead with Devin Townsend.
I don't know.
Steve Vai.
I don't know.
Next question.
Take all the rhythm parts when you record.
Did what?
Take the rhythm part with Paul Stanley. Paul Stanley play all the rhythm part of the record.
On a new record, you mean?
Like Revenge.
Oh, Revenge, yeah. every time you record a song, it's a different procedure. Sometimes I would cut the guitar, the drums track just with Bruce, or just with Paul, just with Gene, sometimes maybe two of us. Like on Carnival of Souls, most of this I do with just me and Bruce, and sometimes me and Gene. But on Carnival of Souls, I don't think Paul played rhythm guitar at all. Revenge he did on all the songs.
So Paul just sang on the Carnival of
I think he might have played on the acoustic song, that one acoustic song. Bruce played all the guitar. I think even all the rhythm. I don't think Paul played rhythm guitar on any of the songs of Carnival of Souls. In fact, Bruce played bass on all the songs on Paul's songs as well, like Jungle. Bruce played everything, guitar and bass, everything, and Paul sang and I played drums, but Gene or Paul didn't play guitars on this at all.
You guys weren't surprised that Bruce got to play all the rhythm tracks as well? You and Bruce?
That's just what like I said, there's no set way we ever record. It's each song or each situation was always different. It depends. Like when we do, like for example, the song Jungle, Bruce originally, when they do the demo, Bruce did a demo at his own home studio. So, rather than Gene learn it, usually producers be like, they make you learn it, and but Gene didn't. Gene said, "Well, you play it better. You play it." So this is what happens sometimes,
Did Gene play bass at all?
Yeah, on all of his songs, of course. And like on Revenge, Gene played bass on everything, and Paul played guitar on everything. Because Bob Ezrin made them do it. That's why I said each producer is different. Bob Ezrin was really like a taskmaster. Cracking the whip on everybody. He would yell at everyone in the studio all the time. That fucking sucks. He'd yell at you. He would yell at me all the time. You'd be playing, he'd go, stop! He'd start screaming. He's like a crazy guy. But he'd start going, that fucking sucks. Okay, let's do it again. Then he'd start, he right away, as he would yell at you, 1 minute, then he'd turn around and be real nice in the same sentence. So he's very good with psychology, how to deal with people, But I thought he was great because he brings out the best in everybody. He's like a crazy mad scientist, I think. I think they should have used him for their new record. I think he's helping do some writing, but they should have used him to produce because I think he would bring out the best in them. Bruce Fairburn is who they're using. But I have not heard anything. I take that back. Ace played me 3 songs of his songs that he demoed, but he used Anton Fig and other guys, they demoed at Ace's place. But
what were these songs like?
I don't know. I can't describe it. You have to hear it. How do you describe a song?
Were they like his solo album, his 78?
I don't know. The one song sounds like, to me, reminds me of like old Kiss style. He wrote this one with Carl Cochran. And actually, Carl Cochran wrote the main riff. But I think it was called Sharpshooter, but I think he changed the name now to something else and rewrote the lyrics and new melody, so I don't know. Things change all the time, and I haven't heard anything in about a month or so from him, so I don't know.
So they approached Bruce to help co-write. I think Paul co-wrote with Bruce.
I don't know.
Did they never approach you to help co-write or do any drum parts or
what for this record?
Yeah, for the new record. How about teaching?
See, the reason Bruce was helping out was because he lived with this guy Kurt Como that wrote a lot of the songs. He's a producer also. He produced the Union album as well. This guy is Bruce. Bruce and this guy are roommates. They lived in the same house. So Paul was coming over there and writing with him. So Bruce was just helping out a little bit at the demos, on his house.
How about like Peter's drum parts? Did anybody coach him to do his drum parts?
I don't know. I don't know anything about the new record. I know nothing about it.
Ask you to like.
I know nothing about the new record. I know nothing about what's going on with it. I'm the wrong person to ask there because I'm not there in the studio and I'm not in the band. So how would I know? I have no idea. I only, like I said, I heard 3 songs that Ace played me of his demos, and that was all I ever heard. Otherwise, I don't know anything.
The question over there.
Yeah, I wonder, do you know if Eric Carl played on the album completely, or did he play on that one?
No, Eric didn't play on the whole record. I know this. I think it was a guy named Alan Schwartzberg, studio musician. He played on, I don't know which songs, but I know he played on a couple songs.
Why?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay.
No, but you ask these questions, and if I wasn't, you have to remember one thing. If I'm not there or I wasn't there, I'm not going to know why or why not these kind of questions. That was 80 or 81. I mean, I didn't even know the band at this point. So, and I never really asked Gene or Paul about this kind of stuff. I just don't, it doesn't concern me, so I don't think about it, Yeah.
And what's your best Kiss memory?
What's my best Kiss memory? I'd say the fans, just in general, the fans. Because the fans always treat everyone really cool, and they're always, it's like, people say love is the universal language. Well, with Kiss fans, Kiss is the universal language. No matter where you go, any country, even if they don't speak the same language, they all have this common thing, and it's Kiss. And they always, most of the fans have always been really great to me and made me feel really good. So I'd have to say that's the best thing about it, or the best memory, definitely. If I had to say any particular show, I can't even think what it would be. Maybe some of the first shows I ever did, because it was like a new experience. It's like the first time you have sex.
Tell them about the
You're what?
Tell them about the wedding.
That's not good. That's not a good experience.
All right, next question.
Don't bring it.
How about the bus driving? There are like 3
How about what?
videos.
Bus driver?
Yes?
Bear?
No, one motherfucker, 2 motherfuckers.
Oh, Bear.
Yeah.
What about him?
He
What?
seems very cool.
Oh yeah, Ron Bear Jones. This guy. Yeah, I don't think he doesn't drive for them anymore because they were flying last
Big
time.
guy.
Yeah, Bear. That's what they call him. What was the question now?
We're going to have him as a special guest on the next convention.
Next convention. He's the special guest next time. For you, special request. Crazy man.
Yeah, I wonder, when did you get the vibe that it was all over, that Chris and Expo?
When they told me they were doing a reunion tour.
Not before that?
No, but the day we were just finishing up Carnival Souls. This is January 1996, and Gene and Paul had a meeting with Bruce and I, and they said we're going to do a reunion tour with Makeup with Ace and Peter. So I knew right then this is probably the beginning of the end, at least for me. And then later on in the summer, in August, they have another meeting. They said we're going to stay in Makeup with Ace and Peter. So that's it. But I knew. See, in the beginning, they said because they don't know how it's going to do. They don't know if they're going to be able to survive on the road, if they're going to get along, if the shows are going to do good business. All this were unanswered questions.
How did that go contract-wise? Because you had a contract.
I'm finishing. All these were unanswered questions. So, but I knew if things go good, that's going to be what they're going to do because that's the smart thing to do. That's business, I mean, this is called the music business. So, and everyone that has a business of any kind, whether you sell cars, jewelry, whatever, you do what's best for your business because that's how you survive. So I think they did the right thing, and I would have done the same thing. I think all of you would have probably done the same thing too.
That was honest.
What?
That was honest of you to say that. It was good business to kiss.
What is? That's. Hey, come on. We all know Gene. How does he sign his name? With a dollar sign, right? Okay.
How did it go with the contracts? Because you and Bruce had a contract with Kiss still when they were doing the reunion?
Once we were told that they're going to stay in Makeup, then we could do whatever we want. Before we were still like what they call on retainer, so we were under contract to the band, even though they're doing a reunion tour, because I think they thought if this reunion tour does not do well or if it does not work out, we have Carnival Souls already recorded, ready to go. If it doesn't work out, we just put Carnival Souls out and continue on. But obviously they did amazing business, so then they did with this. They had nice options.
So how long did they keep you on a retainer for?
That's none of your business.
Sorry.
That's all right. Now there's certain things that I just, I'm honest. I'll tell people the way it is. If I'm not going to tell you something, rather than lie, I'll just say I'm not going to say nothing because I don't want to be phony and lie to people. I'd rather have people know the real truth because I think in the long run, fans deserve to be told the truth. And I'm not the best politician. Some people are really good politicians. They know how to say the right thing and say the right answer and make it always look so great. And I don't believe in.
Do you know Monica Lewinsky?
I don't believe in doing this. I believe in just being honest. But you can do this in a way with integrity. I don't want to say anything bad about people because I don't think anything bad of anyone. But like I said earlier, I don't always agree with everything Gene and Paul do or how they go about doing what they do. But you have to remember, it's their band. So it's their choice to do what they want and do however way they want to do it. I have to respect this, and I do.
Did you tell them your feelings about something when you didn't feel it was good, or this is not a good way to do this thing, or some other thing?
Well, that was between me and them. Let's just say this. when we had the meeting, I said a lot of things of how I feel about things, but that was all that's all personal stuff between me and them, you know. I don't air my dirty laundry, you know. It's like I don't want to know who you're fucking or what you're doing, you know. That's none of my business. And so I say the same thing. It's some things I just choose to keep between me and the people, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, when you went on the Australian tour, and this was something that didn't satisfy you, did you tell them around, so did you like shut up about it? Or?
Well, you have to realize when you work for people, you have to be smart enough to know when it's worth saying something or not. You don't just complain about things just to complain. If you're going to say something, make it worth, you know, make a statement and have it be worthwhile. You have to be smart enough to know when, if it's worth it or not, you know. And most of the time, most things are not that important to complain too much, you know. I get along pretty much easily with everyone, so I mean, Gene and Paul will tell you, I never gave them any problems whatsoever. I mean, probably with Bruce and I, they had the easiest time because we never give them any problems, you know. What's my favorite Kiss song? I don't know. I like a lot of them, so I can't have a favorite. I always liked Black Diamond, and I always liked Watching You. Mostly anything off the first 3 records I like pretty much.
Strange Ways.
I'm sorry?
Which Kiss, the original Kiss or the new one with you and Bruce?
Which one do I like better, the original Kiss or who? Well, that's kind of that's kind of an odd question to ask. I mean, obviously I grew up on Kiss and I was influenced by the original band, but obviously I like the version with me because I had a job. But no, I like something. I like all versions of Kiss, and I think they made some really good records and they made some not so good records. But I think all the records have at least a couple good songs on them. I think there were some periods where the band I didn't really care for. And I lost interest, but I think a lot of you would say the same thing. You know, you don't love every Kiss record, I'm sure.
Yes.
I don't believe it. But you like, put it this way, you like some more than others, right? Of course. So that's I think that's true for everyone.
Do you think you work for Kiss or with Kiss?
I'm sorry?
Do you think you work for Kiss?
Do I think I work for Kiss or with Kiss? Well, it's both. I mean, in all honesty, you know, like I said before, this was Gene and Paul's band. It always was Gene and Paul's band. It still is to this day, from the very beginning. But it's not like a dictatorship, you know. I mean, they always listen to everyone's opinion, and you have input and, you know, give advice and ideas. I mean, you know, they're not dumb. They realize that everybody has a brain and has something to offer. I mean, I would hope and think that the reason they had me playing in the band was not just because of playing drums, but because you helped bring at least a little bit of something to the band to help keep it moving forward, you know. You have to remember, yes, maybe the band wasn't as successful when I was in it as it's doing right now, but at least it still survived. I mean, most bands last 5-6 years and it's over and it's gone. They've been around for 25 years now. So, and everybody that was in the band along the way, I think in some way helped keep the band always moving forward. It may not have been the best version of each band or everybody's favorite, but at least it always kept the band alive and moving forward, you know. That's why when I see them pretend, you know, sometimes Gene and Paul act like the band didn't even exist now since makeup. You know, it's like the band stopped in 1980 or something, and then now back in 1996, you know, they forget about 13 or 14 years that all you people bought the records and supported them. And I think that's not really fair to the fans. It makes it look like that wasn't important or didn't, you know, matter.
Does that piss you off when they do that?
Well, it's disappointing because I think it's disrespectful to everybody, not just myself, but fans, because it makes the fans think like, oh, so in other words, only the makeup's legitimate and all this other stuff didn't count. Why did we buy all these records? Why did we go to the concerts and buy the T-shirt? You know, so I think they need to remember that. Look at this girl. They need to remember. I got sidetracked. They need to remember that, you know, everything helped keep them going and moving forward. And, you know, the band has been, you know, up and down its whole career. So, but it's always survived, and everyone has contributed to help making it survive, I think. You know, Vinny, Mark St. John, everyone. You know, regardless of what anyone thinks, they all helped. I mean, Vinny wrote some great songs when he was in the band. You know, he might not be my favorite person or guitar player, but you can't deny that he had some talent, you know. You have to give credit where it's due, even if you don't like someone. crazy.
This guy over here, he's waiting for now.
Do you think Kiss is better musician now than once in 45?
In all honesty, no. Because I think there was one thing, part of playing live is not just about this technical thing. It's about attitude, you know, and energy and these kind of things. And I'll tell you what, put on a video, there's bootleg videos here. Get from San Francisco 1975, watch this, and then watch a reunion show and you tell me. You know, look at the energy and the attitude they had back then. You know, when they were real hungry. There's a different kind of idea in their mind, and you know. But you have to remember, Kiss is not about music. In my opinion, when they're wearing makeup, it's not about the musicianship. It's the show. That's what it's about. It's like the circus comes to town, you know. That's what I think of it. When I think of Kiss, I think of like the circus or the show. You know. Did you ever see this thing called Cirque du Soleil? It's like a. What's up, guys? Oh, no.
He has a question.
What? He's going home. Oh, he's going home? Okay. There you go. But, you know, to me, Kiss is like when the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, or any of this kind of thing, it's like performance art. It's entertainment in this way. And I think that's what a lot of fans think when Kiss is coming to town. Like, oh, the circus is coming to town. And that's what, to me, is the great thing about the makeup in the show, you know? Not about the musicianship. I would think when they didn't wear makeup, then they concentrate more. Gene and Paul played much better when they were in the band with Bruce and I than they do now. Because they concentrated more on the music, and this was more of the focus. But now it's about running around and being a monster. So, and this is okay, you know, that's what it's about. At least that's what I think, yeah. I mean, playing-wise, did I have more freedom? Well, in some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Gene and Paul never told me how to play. But if I would get too crazy, sometimes, you know, they would tell me that Gene would sometimes say, you know, keep it a little more straight, which makes sense. You know, you have to remember, KISS stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. Which is, you know, and this is not meant in a bad way. This is meant like, in other words, Gene likes the drums to be more straight. 4 on the floor, very simple, very driving, this kind of a thing. He doesn't like too much fancy stuff, you know. Because when I would do anything fancy, sometimes he would get like mixed up. He'd be like, "Oh, you do this, you turn around, like, what the fuck was that?" You know. So I realized, you know, you have to be smart. Sometimes, you know, drummers, we get out of hand because we want to like do a lot of stuff, and you need to be, somebody has to like this, tell you to settle down. You know. I know I need to be told this sometimes. I'm guilty of it many times.
Well, you've been in many bands. When you join a band, do you feel like you're joining as a band member or as a hired gun?
Do I feel like I'm joining as a band? Well, both. Because the reality is, a lot of times people have the wrong idea what they think about people being in different bands. You have to remember, if you join a band, if they don't want to make you a member of the band, in other words, like a partner in their business, what are you supposed to do? Then you have no choice, but you are considered a hired gun, whether you like it or not. It's not a choice that I make. It's a choice that the people make when they hire you, if they want to include you or not. And most people don't, because that means what? It means giving you a piece of money, and it means they make less. And most people do not want to do this. So that's why. But you can my attitude is you make a situation work for you, not against you. So a lot has to do with the attitude that you bring to it. You know, like if I go in there to a band with a good attitude and say, okay, I know I'm not a member, but I'm going to still give 100% and do the best I can and be professional, that's going to make it be a lot easier and more fun when you're playing with them. So a lot of it's up to you individually to have a good attitude about it and then make it work for you in a good way, positive way.
How was the news brought to you that you were hired in KISS? Who called you and what were they saying?
Nobody really called me. I mean, I knew when I was doing the Revenge album, Eric Carr was ill. So I knew that even though I was still playing with Alice Cooper, I knew that if Eric Carr doesn't get better, they're going to probably have to get a different drummer. And it looked like I probably might be the strong candidate because I just did the record. And then as he got sick, then he passed away. So then, you know, they asked me to be in the band.
Did they give you
They didn't have, they just basically, well, I think Gene did, I think it was.
Gene called you?
Well, I think, no, they asked me. They just basically said, you want to do this, you know.
Okay, so what was your first contract like? Was there like a set year on that, like 1 or 2
I don't
years?
talk about that stuff. I don't talk about business stuff. That's personal, you know. Yeah.
You have to learn the songs before you can play them to remember, to really play along.
What do you mean?
You have to rehearse the song, you know the song, this song.
Of course I had to rehearse them. Everyone has to rehearse them before you go on tour. Even if you remember them, you still need to physically play them so you know what it feels like to play the songs, and also for everybody else to get used to the right tempo and all these kind of things. I mean, like when they went on the reunion tour, I know Ace and Peter couldn't remember the songs so well, so Tommy Thayer showed Ace all the solos. It's true. He sat in the room. Ace told me the same thing. Because Tommy's great. He showed me all the solos. Because I couldn't even remember them. I mean, he's very straight up about this stuff. He doesn't pretend or nothing. I mean, he's funny sometimes. The way he says this stuff.
So when they talk to you about the reunion, they take you by surprise and you see it coming like months in advance?
Well, yeah, because I didn't think that, how do I say it? After we did the MTV Unplugged, I didn't think, you know, I thought, okay, this got it out of their system for the fans, and Gene and Paul didn't seem that excited about it, you know. And, I mean, they didn't seem like, oh, there's this great chemistry or anything like this. They didn't act this way, and I didn't get this impression. When Gene, you know, told us, it was like out of left field. All of a sudden, he has a meeting and says, "Oh, we're going to do a reunion tour." I'm like, and we weren't even finished with Carnival Souls yet. We were still mixing. We had 2 or 3 days left of recording, so we weren't even quite done, and that's why I was kind of surprised. But, yep. Do I what?
Do you get along well with Ace?
Yeah, I get along with everyone. Well, the only one I don't know Peter because I never really, you know, I talked to him, you know, when I met him a couple times before MTV, and then that was it. I met him at MTV, but I never, never talked to him and don't really know him at all, you know. Ace I've seen around a few times. I jam with him at the NAMM show for the Gibson Guitar Party, and then I jam with him at some club, and once in a while I go out to these clubs and hang out with him a little bit, but, you know. But, you know, he's cool to me. I don't really know him that well, but he's always, you know, cool to me. Do I what? I don't know. Well, put it this way, when I've been with him, he wasn't drinking when I was with him. But what he does on his own, I mean, I've only been around him a few times. There's a lot of days in a week. And a lot of weeks in a month or in a year. So, I mean, I don't know what he does in his own time, or I don't, you know, I'm not the police. I don't monitor his life, and I don't pay attention to this. And honestly, I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't care what he does. That's his life. I don't worry about this stuff, you know.
Eric, you should be a politician.
What?
You should be.
I should be a politician? No, I mean I'm not gonna, you know, I'm being honest. I didn't, when I was with him, he was not drinking, but.
Eric, let's remember 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Crazy man.
Did you meet Kiss at 75 when you were a young kid?
No.
Did you try to?
No. I never was like this kind of fan when I was a kid for bands. I never cared about autographs and meeting bands. I didn't care about this stuff, you know. I mean, I would always go to the concerts. And back then, they used to let you come down right on the stage like this, you know, even in the aisle, you know, aisleway. They didn't care. If you got there early, you could come down and on the aisle and stay on the stage. So I would always go very early and be on the stage. So I remember in &75, I was right here in front of Ace, and I'm hitting his platform boots. I remember this. And I got his pick. I lost it. I had a pick. I don't remember what I did with it, but and Rush was the opening band. No, this is Akron.
Tell him that you touch his boots.
I don't think I ever told him that. I don't think I
tell him now.
Maybe I did. I don't remember. I don't think. You know, I don't think about this. But I never go like. You know, I was not the. You know, like how some of you fans are real crazy about hanging out the hotel and falling for autographs. That's okay. I was never into this. You know, but I would go early because I like to go early so I could look at the equipment, like the drums and you know all the amplifiers and this. I remember. You know, like I saw Richie Black. I saw Rainbow when they did Rainbow Rising tour, and I was like right like this in front of Richie Blackmore, and my friend I got his guitar pick that night too, You know, I would Robin Trower. I was right in front. Michael Schenker. Always these concerts. I would always go early and be right in the front, right here. But I never cared about meeting. And I knew where the bands would stay, with hotel. But I don't know why. I just didn't care about this. You know.
What age did you play drums?
11.
And what reason?
I'm sorry.
And what reason did you?
You know, I don't know. My mother told me that I always like to hit things, you know, pots and pans and this kind of stuff. So I don't know what made me want to. I guess I just always liked it.
Do you play guitar or something?
No, I suck on guitar.
He plays harmonica.
No, I don't play that either. I play guitar very bad and bass very poorly. I sing a little bit, and that's about it.
Sing very good.
Sing good on Spaceways.
What?
We sing good on Spaceways.
Oh, thanks. Did you buy it?
All right.
Did you buy it?
Yes.
Ask him if he bought it.
All right.
You bought it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I've seen him on tour now. I kind of realized that Peter's not the best guy anymore, and many of the songs are a little bit slower now live than they used to be, like Gallows Thunder and all that stuff. Do you think that there's a reason that they don't play songs from your period or Jim Unmastered because they can't do it? Peter is good enough? Or
Well, you have to remember when they did the reunion show, it was supposed to be similar to like the Destroyer kind of era show. So they didn't have those songs in 1977. So why would they play songs that are newer if they're trying to do a reunion, like kind of like flashback to the 70s?
that's what I mean. Do you think they don't want to play?
I don't know. You have to ask them. I don't know. I don't know what they think about this kind of stuff. I remember I heard rumors once that somebody told me when they were in Europe that they did God Gave Rock and Roll to You, but I guess this was not true, so I don't know. You know, you hear all kinds of rumors all the time. I mean, on the internet and magazines, and you know, you don't always believe everything you hear or read. You know, if somebody tells you firsthand information, then maybe that's more legitimate. But if you just read it, too many people just go, "Oh, I read it in a magazine; it's true." You know, Gene's a mass murderer. Oh, I read it in a magazine; he kills everyone. You know? I mean, people make up all this crazy stuff all the time. You know. Okay. Sure.
Okay, the next question. We're going to do 4 more questions, so think of some real good ones, okay? Real good questions. Who's got a real good question?
Why, the other questions weren't good?
No, they were, but now they're getting scarce.
Okay. Why did I leave Badlands? I didn't, I got fired.
Jakey Lee on guitar.
That's right. Thank you.
I know that one.
Who was the bass player?
I don't know that one.
All right,
I don't know Jakey Lee played with Ozzy. Fire.
What? Why did I get fired? Because I didn't get along with them. Oh, he's fired. Okay. I got fired because I didn't get along with them guys. Actually, in the beginning we got along very well, but you know, there was a lot of business decisions and things that I never agree with, and eventually, you know, too much tension, and so eventually they decided, well, let's get a different drummer, and they did. And they did one more record, and then they broke up. And that was it.
Okay, we got 3 more questions. No, you. Yes. Somebody who hasn't asked the question yet. I want somebody new now. No, I didn't fuck her. All right. I knew that was coming, right?
No, that's one. I just wanted. What if?
Oh, hold on, go ahead. No, because at the time I had a girlfriend.
That's a short one. That's good. Okay, 2 more. 2 more. Sure?
Ask Gene that one.
Okay.
Which record? That Black Sabbath 7 Star. Yeah.
Glenn Hughes or vocals?
Hughes.
Hughes.
Not Hughes. Hughes.
Sorry. Glenn Hughes.
I know he used to be big, but now he lost weight.
All right. Mike.
You also got a chance to work with that.
Yeah.
It's also like a legend. How do you think they are compared to each other?
How do I? Well, they're very different people. Gene and Paul are much more hands-on, more involved in their own careers and business. Alice has had the same manager his whole career, and he's not as involved like this, you know. But Alice is a really nice guy, probably one of the easiest people to work for. But he also keeps things very business. He keeps himself very separate from the band and from the whole business thing. He basically comes out, does the show. You know, you play in the band. He's cool. He's nice to everybody, very respectful. But he keeps a lot of distance between himself and the band and the business side of things. That's why he always has a different band, because he knows that the band is like a revolving door. It always was changing all the time. So he doesn't get attached to anybody, you know. But he's a great guy.
That's the last question.
How long were you with Alice?
I did 2 tours, Trash Tour and the Hey Stupid Tour. So 1990, 1991.
Whole Hey Stupid.
What?
Did you play on the whole Hey Stupid tour?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, in conclusion, I want to do a word association thing. I'm going to name you a name or a word or a line, and I want to know what's the first thing that pops in your
You
head.
did this the other day.
Yeah.
It better be different words though.
No, I'm going
You
to
do the same ones, I'm not doing it.
No, of course I have different ones.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's not spontaneous then.
All right. You've been in a lot of bands so far. You've played with a lot of...
Yeah, I'm a whore. Go ahead.
I didn't say that.
All right.
You've played with a lot of great people, a lot of legends. If there was another band that you hadn't played in yet that you would really like to join, which one would that be?
Led Zeppelin.
That's a good one.
Or Deep Purple maybe. But with David Coverdale and Clint Hughes in the band.
All right. The Statue of Liberty.
What about it?
What's your first thing?
New York City.
All
I
right.
remember climbing the stairs into the statue when I was 5 years old. I still remember it. And my father carried my little brother because we were so small, we were this big.
You had no clue that you would once play with that statue behind you exploding.
Yeah, I knew it back then. I'm psychic. I knew you were going to ask that question too.
All right. Lita Ford.
Lita, there he is, Lita Ford, right here. He fucked her.
I fucked her nice.
There you go, there you go.
That's quick.
No, Lita Ford. That was the first, band, first person to give me a break. So I always think of her in a cool way. Even though we had our differences for a while, but I'm cool with her now. But I always have a lot of special place in my heart for her because she gave me my first break.
Okay, Tony Iommi.
Like I said before, the godfather of heavy metal for me. You know.
Ace Frehley.
He's the king of heavy riffs. You know.
Ace. Ace the king.
Okay, well, makes sense.
Okay, when Black Sabbath first started out, they had this sort of dark, satanic image. Is any of that true? Like,
Well,
Satan,
I didn't see
did that play a
it. I didn't see it, but if it is, then maybe they kept it personal. But I never saw it.
Because there's a lot of rumor that Tony Iommi has some rituals before he goes on stage and upside down crosses.
No, they all have those crosses that they wear that have their names on them. But they all had those made when they were in the '70s. Ozzy wore all these big gold crosses. That's just something they all had made, but they're not upside down.
Okay, this is really the last one. What is your favorite band that you would listen to right now? Like new stuff. I don't mean Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath, but a new band.
There is no new band that I like that I listen to.
What's the last new band that you bought the CD of and that you
Alice in
liked?
Chains was the last newer band that I liked a lot. That I liked all their records. Because to me, I like those heavy riffs, and I thought Lane Staley has a really cool, unique voice and style.
All right, that was it. As promised, this has been
all right. Get out.
This has been a big honor for me to do this interview with Eric Singer. I hope you all enjoyed it. And we're going to take a short little break.
How about a hand for Rick, my interpreter? Today is the first day that I didn't have to. See, it goes faster today because the other days he had to, which is great. He speaks 5 languages, 4 languages. So he was always interpreting for me in German. We have to ask a question, and he has to ask it again to me in English, then back and forth. It takes forever. So this is good that you guys all speak English. That's great.
Thank God for education in Sweden.
Yeah.
I thank the Minister of Education in Sweden. And Denmark.
What do you got?
Say nothing to lose.
You sing it.
If there was a tribute band, we would. Okay, people, listen. We're going to get ready to do the autograph session. We need a couple of minutes to set up the stuff here on stage. We have drumsticks for sale. We have Eric Singer t-shirts for sale. We have Eric Singer guitar picks for sale. And we have some beautiful 8x10 photos that you could get signed. You could get them with Alex Skunk in the back. He has the best photos.
The guy with the blonde streak in his hair.
The guy that looks like Gizmo.
Hey, Skunk, where are you? Skunk, come on, make yourself known.
But the best thing we have here
Hold on a
is...
second. Skunk!
Sign this!
Yeah, sign this.
Later.
Hold on a second. I'm going to. Give me a break. Give me a break. Hold on. Do you know something? We'll make sure you're first so they can throw you out. No, I'm just kidding.